I'm Mike House, founder and owner of Tony Baloney's and Mad Mutts, Fresh Mozzarella Laboratory. You are watching South Jersey Business with Joe Molineaux.
Welcome to South Jersey Business with Joe Molineaux. Thank you for joining us as we share information, tips, and techniques that can make our business community and your business more successful. Thank you to Stockton University for the opportunity to produce this show focusing on business in South Jersey. In just a moment, we will talk with Mike Houck, founder of Tony Baloney's and Mad Mutts Fresh Mozzarella Laboratory. I have known Mike Houck for over 15 years. As we got to know each other through his business development, his community involvement, as well as becoming friends, I realized and marveled at his ability to combine vision and hard work to reach an incredible level of success in business. He mixed a mindset of crazy ideas with an incredible work ethic and a unique style that's all his own. Mike has been part of the South Jersey business community and supporting the community he serves for nearly 2 decades. I am very excited for you to learn more about Mike Houck, who serves bold, creative food that breaks rules and brings people together. So let's get right down to business with today's featured guest, Mike Houck. Mike, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
So can you take us back to the beginning? What was your motivation? What allowed you to start, or what made you start Tony Baloney's, which was one of your first ventures?
I mean, the reality was that Revel Casino was being built. We had 5,000 construction workers, and we ended up buying this house. My father actually convinced me to buy the real estate, but he ended up buying it, and we were going to outfit it for a bodega to rent it out to feed the workers. Guess what? No one wanted to rent it. We said, you know what, we're going to open and operate this bodega deli serving frozen garbage to construction workers. And then a year later, they stopped construction and there was no workers. So we had a choice. Do we try to offload this asset? Do we try to keep operating it? Do we try to rent it out? I said, you know what, let me just make everything from scratch. We bought frozen pizza dough. I mean, you name it, it was garbage. And I asked all my employees, hey, we're going to make dough. They said, nah, I'm not teaching. This is like my family recipe. I called my food supplier. They're like, no, we're not selling you tomatoes. We're going to send you a can of pizza sauce. And put water. I said, you're fired. You're fired. Everyone's gone. Get the hell out of here. And I started messing around for about a month and a half and created Tony Baloney's as you see it. And basically, Tony Baloney's means like naughty little kid. It's like, yeah, you little Tony Baloney, get upstairs and wash your face. Back in like the 50s. Yeah. And we started Tony Baloney's. And our mantra since day one is, if you can buy it, we can make it. Yeah. And we're like the naughty kids of like this otherwise static pizza world where it's like the same stuff. It's the same pizza, which I like, by the way. Yeah. I love pizza. I love Italian food. Exactly. But I love Indian food. It's my favorite food. Why would I not make an Indian tikka masala pizza? Why would I not make our own paneer cheese?
We want to get to the variety, but it's interesting that I have a saying I used to tell people, 4 walls could not contain you. And while you were one of the best kept secrets in Atlantic City, it didn't stay secret for long. But then you did something really creative. You took this show on the road. Can you talk about how you did this mobile thing that actually ultimately became one of the top food trucks in America by voting by Americans? Can you talk a little bit about what was the genesis to take the show on the road?
Yeah, I mean, customers would come to us and say, where are you located? I tell them, 300 Oriental Avenue. They would say, oh my God, that's like all the way in the inlet. It's kind of dangerous. It's scary. They would drive by, maybe if they couldn't, I don't know, whatever. And the customers would finally come in, they'd feel welcome, and it was good. I then said, you know what, let me get a food truck going because I can then go to anywhere and bring the Tony Baloney experience to your house, the Atlantic City to anywhere, Margate, Longport, Northfield, Manahawkin, Short Hills, New Jersey, whatever.
New York City.
New York City. And I applied for the Live with Kelly food truck competition. I went through the rounds, thousands of trucks to hundreds of trucks, and I was one of the finalists. We got on the show. I think Chef Jean-Georges, like all these top, Josh Capon. I mean, these are acclaimed chefs. James Beard Award winners, Michelin star, I mean, legit. And I ended up winning the food truck nationwide competition with my cheesesteak Olay, which was the same sub that I won Food Network Guy Fieri cheesesteak battle
Yeah, that puts
against
you- that was
all
one
the
of the
guys
things that
from
really
Philly,
put you on the map.
and they were all mad at me afterwards that
Yeah.
they lost, even if it was on our home turf, you know.
It's still one of my favorite cheesesteaks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's so we had to diversify a little bit. And we had to get out of our box because ultimately, some people didn't want to come down there, or it was inconvenient. You know, I looked at it that way.
You brought convenience to what you thought was an inconvenient trip for people. You made it convenient.
I made it convenient.
And you also made a lot of friends along the way. So in a world that's dominated by pizza and hoagies and choices in both, and subs, right? Your subs. What keeps people coming back to Tony Baloney's year after year? And you know, what do you attribute that to? I know part of it's your staff, but what else brings them back? What do you think is, if you point to one thing that keeps them coming back?
Yeah, I mean, I think for anyone out there that has a really bad ADHD, usually it's a huge detriment, right?
Yeah.
For me, that ants in the pants creativity-ish thing helps me in my bored moments to do something and keep active. And with Tony Baloney's, I cannot keep static. I need to keep inventing, reinventing, retweaking. I'm not the place that says, we've had the same dough recipe for 30 years and we're proud of, no. I've changed my dough recipe 16 times, literally based on, I find a better flour that's unbleached or unbromated. I find a better this to make a sauce. I feel better about a product, and I won't feed my customers anything that either I wouldn't have eat or my kids won't eat or family won't eat. So like keeping it moving that way and keeping it not static is so important, because ultimately nothing's off the table for us. It's not like we're fixed in our ways, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Some people maybe won't, don't appreciate that or like that. I think most do, and they always realize like we're always going to keep it top notch. We're always going to use the best ingredients. We're going to do things genuinely, and we're always going to be on our toes and be, bucking the norm with anything, which is why a lot of times we have the virality that we do with different items. It's not a gimmicky thing. It literally is, I wanted to do that.
It's legit and it's authentic. So I do have to ask you this question, because I always wondered, I don't think I've ever asked you this question.
Yeah.
Do you come up with the names? Is it you that generates the names and have always generated the names? Because, I mean, we are going to look at the board, and the board has a lot of reference to this playing board, which is a very creative marketing thing we're going to talk about. But are all those names just come out of your brain? When I talked about crazy ideas, some of these names have crazy names, but they're unforgettable once you taste them.
Yeah, I mean, I not only come up with the idea, I then execute the recipe, portioning, unit economics, the market price of it, depending on whatever.
Yeah, you got to price out the items.
I come out with the names, I come out with the marketing on it. I then work with the same guy I've been working with for 16 years, where I have these ideas, I can do illustration, Photoshop, whatever, and then I pass them off and say, hey, listen, refine this a little bit, tighten it up a little bit, and let's make it worthy of being on market. So ultimately, every recipe item, name, presentation, the way that it's applied in the sandwich, that's all me until it gets to the consumer, which I have an awesome team that can execute these things out. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
So one more quick question to end this segment, and it might be as hard as asking you who your favorite child is, but do you have a favorite slice, a favorite pizza, or a favorite sub that is your all-time favorite? Do you have one?
Yeah, easily.
Which one's that?
Easily. There's two. There's the Mexican Cornhusker. I came out with the first elotes esquites pizza before it was a thing where people were like, you can't put that on pizza, that's insane. And I did it. Fresh Jersey corn, Oaxacan chilies, crema, this, that, and it is amazing. Or the tikka, which is a sesame crusted coconut curry, Indian tikka masala, almost like a makhani sauce with homemade paneer cheese, our version of it, cilantro, green chutney. Like those two are my hands down go-tos anytime, period.
You're smashing up, mashing up, and bringing cultures together. I love it.
Yeah.
Sit tight. We got plenty of show left.
All right, awesome.
All right. Next up, a quick look at how you can check out other episodes of the show. Then we'll be right back with more business talk featuring Mike Haupt, founder of Tony Baloney's and Mad Mutt's Fresh Mozzarella Laboratory, right here on South Jersey Business with Joe Molineaux. solid business requires a solid strategy. Let's discover a few tips and maybe a lesson or two from today's featured guest, Mike Hauk, founder of Tony Baloney's and Mad Mutt's Fresh Mozzarella Laboratory, on today's strategy session. Mike, thanks again for being on the show.
Yeah, of course.
How do you define success?
I mean, honestly, I want to make people happy. I am a people pleaser. So if I can make people happy in some way, shape, or form, that's my version of success. How that translates into business and profit and what you do with that profit and all those core, functions of running a business or the mechanics of a business, it then boils down to, can I feed my family? Can I give my kids a nice life? Can I provide them to the things that I think are important? Then that plays into the success, but ultimately, it has to start somewhere, and it has to start with making a customer happy. That's why you're in business. That's their enjoyment is what puts dollars on the table.
Absolutely.
If they're not happy,
Yeah.
in general, give your car to a valet and be rude.
Yes.
Maybe your car's gonna get a little effed up. Right?
Absolutely.
You gotta,
Yeah,
in general.
no, I understand. We just mentioned you own Tony Baloney's for quite some time. What is one of the most valuable business lessons you've learned through the ownership of the business?
I mean, I think the mutual respect for customers, mutual respect for food vendors, all those things are super important to me. And you have to recognize that when you're serving people or you're doing things, you have to do it with that intention in mind. In terms of a business, though, as a lesson, to me, it's you have to understand unit economics. If your business is to feed people and give it away for free, and it's a charity thing, that's okay. That's great. It still needs to be supported. Someone has to pay for the building.
Exactly.
So ultimately, unit economics and how that plays into everything you do and understanding the mechanics of your business are on my brain on a daily basis. And I think for any business owner out there, persistence is super important. Showing up is important. Being honest is important. All those core ethical things. But to operate a business and understand those, to me, the unit and microecon is so vital. Because if you don't have that in place and that foundation isn't set to some bar, it's going to be hard to operate. And maybe you don't hit that threshold. Maybe you don't get that level of sales. So it doesn't really matter anyway.
Yeah.
But you have to know that.
They are key elements, you're right.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Mad Mutt's, your partnership, as well as a very positive experience on Shark Tank. Can you talk a little bit about that and where that has you right now in your career and what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, it was an awesome experience. It was a lot of work before Shark Tank, due diligence, preparation, providing numbers, you name it. We did a lot of work with it. I teamed up with my good friend Michael Burns, who has a very successful real estate company and technology business. And I called him one day and I said, listen, we have an opportunity to be on Shark Tank for Tony Baloney's Mozzarella Laboratory. I think this brand is a standout, breakout brand. We have the opportunity going on the show. And ultimately, we're getting thousands of restaurants on a weekly basis wanting to buy these sticks because they know Tony Baloney sells them. Yeah. I think there's a business here. And by the way, it's my #1 category seller behind pizza and subs.
That's great.
And it's the most profitable thing on my menu.
Wow.
So between all those things, I think that we can also give this product to a restaurant and have them be successful and make money at the mozzarella sticks, which basically you don't make money off mozzarella sticks. It's a commodity, and it's kind of just you feed the kids and make them happy.
Yeah.
And then since Shark Tank and working with Lori, we were already working on Wakefern and ShopRite. We're getting to all ShopRite stores through Wakefern corporate. Then we're working on some other CPG retail. We're in food service between Driscoll Foods and Ferraro. I think we're over 1,000 restaurants right now, just in the Northeast region.
Yeah.
And now little by little with proper planning and crawling before we walk and walking before we run, making sure the product quality is 100%, we're then going national.
Yeah, our family has the benefit of shopping at ShopRite, so we get them at ShopRite, but we also get them at one of our favorite restaurants as well. So we have it, we get it from all sides. We love it, awesome. And we love those sticks. You talked a lot about your team and growing the team. Is there one thing, since we're talking strategy, that you make sure, because you talked about the value of the experience and respecting the customer, is there one thing that you want every employee to make sure they do in their customer service? Is there one or two elements that you always make sure and you ensure in the customer experience?
Yeah, I always tell people you need to be A, kind, B, if your intention and your job is to lift things and put things somewhere and that's your function and that's your job, that's okay. just know there is a time that someone is going to be in your way and you're lifting this thing. You need to be nice about it. You need to work around that and you need to pivot. Option A, B, C, and D. You can't just be like, this is what I got to do and I got to put it there. That plays into someone that's cooking.
Yes.
That plays into customer service.
Yeah.
That plays into a woman across the street from us in Atlantic City that came to us today that her freezer broke and she was losing all of her food.
Wow.
And she was crying in the shop.
Yeah.
And she's a customer. Like, we could have easily told her, no, we're not taking this. Like, we're not that.
you had
We
space.
said, do me a favor, put it in Tupperware, have it sealed.
Yeah.
We're going to put it in the
Just can't-
employee fridge in the back.
Yeah, perfect.
And we're going to make room for you.
Wow.
There's no money in it for us.
That was great.
But you have to treat people, A, human, and B, maybe not everyone loves your stuff. Maybe someone had a bad experience. Maybe we messed up a sub or a sandwich. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what's
you can make
wrong?
it right.
We could always make it right, and instead of getting defensive or standing our ground, this is how we do it. We've been doing this for years, and blah blah. Like, that's not the time and the place. Whoa, you're hot right now.
Yeah.
Hold on, we got you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we're gonna figure this out. Talk to me. What happened? Granted, maybe there's an element of those customers that are trying to get one over on us. Maybe they're thieves. I don't know. Maybe they're looking to rip people off. It happens.
Yep.
You know what? Let them
You're
take
gonna
that.
give them the
Let them
benefit of
take
the
that to
doubt.
the grave.
Yeah,
We're
that's
okay
right.
with that.
Yeah.
We're gonna treat you like you didn't lie to us.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make you another pizza. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
And that's part of the definition of why you're so successful right there in that
Move it
statement.
along. You gotta move it along.
Exactly. So one last question in this segment. I've got to know you over the last 15 years. I've got to meet your family, your beautiful wife, your two wonderful kids. I know how hard you work. So I got to ask the question, how do you balance the needs of the business and growing the business with those ongoing needs of family and a growing family?
I mean, again, the good news is that I have ADHD. That gives me superhuman abilities to do multiple things at once. Unfortunately, sometimes you're not fully successful at those things as you juggle these things.
Yes.
So I'm always mindful that there's a soccer game or whatever it is. I may be there and I may be on my phone or I may be doing something, but I know I'm looking at my son Grayson going, yeah, you did it, you know?
Yeah.
Yep, did it. Yeah, you did it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's very hard to do. It's not comfortable, by the way.
No.
It's not enjoyable.
Right.
But
you're
this,
doing it.
But this is the business. So for my wife, for my kids, I work 18-hour days, 7 days a week. I've done it for 20-something years.
Yeah.
Whether I'm in Sicily harvesting olive oil that I do every October, whether I'm in a family vacation, it doesn't matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, there is that responsibility that I have.
Yeah.
And even if I don't get a call, I could spend a week in Sicily and not get a call, and all my team is killing it. They're crushing it.
Yeah.
There's going to be a time where there's going to be something I got to address, and I got to be okay with that. If I'm not okay with that, it's just not going to work.
You do have superhuman skills. I didn't realize it was because of the diagnosis.
100%.
But you have superhuman skills. Listen, sit tight. We got plenty of show left.
Yeah.
Up next, we're putting Mike Houck, founder of Tony Baloney's and Mad Mutt's Fresh Mozzarella Laboratory, to the test with the M4 Big Money question right here on South Jersey Business with Joe Molineaux. As you're aware, management, marketing, money, and media are the essential parts of any business. And when you are operating a well-established and popular eatery while also managing your own personal brand, product distributed on a national scale, you need to know how to mix up all 4 M's. So it's time for the M4 Big Money question with today's featured guest, Mike Houck, founder of Tony Baloney's and Mad Mutt's Fresh Mozzarella Laboratory. Mike, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, so let's go. We'll break them down one at a time. Talk to us about management, your management style.
My management style is, I don't want to say hands off, but I want you to use your brain. I tell my managers all the time, not that you're lazy, make believe that your hands do not work. Put them behind your back. If you can't manage the store, if you cannot manage a process, and after you've done it, of course, without your hands behind your back, like, we have a problem.
Yeah.
You need to make believe you can't lift those things. You can't make that sub. You can, of course, do it, and you're expected to hop in there and get it done and roll your sleeves up. You have to figure out communication-wise how to do it in a process so that everyone can repeat it the right way, and then unleash your hands and do what you got to do.
Yeah, that's great. All right, I'm sure this is one of your favorite M's. Second M is marketing. Let's talk a little bit about the traditional forms of marketing you use, all the great things you've done to build your business.
Smoke break. I mean, it's a mozzarella stick. I didn't realize. I mean, put it this way.
My pizza box is a board.
Yeah,
Monopoly
should we get a
was
look? Can
invented
we get a look at
and
this?
created
Let's see.
in Atlantic City.
Yeah, you got
it
some
has
pieces
game
on the
pieces
side?
on the side. We
Yeah.
want to make your experience
Yeah.
fun. We
Yeah.
want you to dive into this. We don't want you to just have a commodity. You can get a
love
slice
it.
of pizza anywhere.
Yeah.
So for me, in terms of marketing, it's not shock and awe.
Yeah.
It's not throw you off and do some kind of trendy stuff that's gimmicky.
Yeah.
It literally has to follow through.
Yeah.
With the experience, with the taste, with everything, and we want you to have fun with it. We want you to come in
Yeah.
and have a good time and enjoy the product and interact with it and
Yeah.
appreciate
Look at
the
that
hard work that we put into it. Like,
Yeah.
it's super important.
You know what's interesting too? You created a couple iconic characters along the way. Tony Baloney's, as you mentioned earlier in the show, you talked about him being a character that you grew
Oh,
up
yeah.
with. You know, there was Tony Baloney was a neighborhood thing that you
Yeah.
heard all the time, right? And then also with the Mad Mutts, you know, the character that you actually embodied on Shark Tank. I mean, that's iconic. You've created two iconic characters along the way.
People don't realize Mad Mutts. We are the mad scientists of mozzarella.
I love
That's why we have a laboratory. We're not just manufacturing. We're actually inventing. We're creating. Crazy thing is, I invented flavored mozzarella about 13 years ago. That sounds so stupid.
Yeah.
What do you mean? No.
Yeah.
No one else was doing it. It's really difficult to do that process.
Yeah.
And it
You
took
did
me
it in the
years.
lab.
In the lab, and it took me years to get it into mozzarella stick
Yeah.
form. That's friable, and it's an always evolving thing. So it's
Yeah.
like.
I love it. I love that you're in the lab and you're still working on stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The third M, you know, because we want to get to the fourth one, but it's money. I know how important it is to a business, to any business, but you know, how do you approach the money?
I mean, listen, the money's important to keep it going. My father always told me, you know, business ultimately revolves around profit.
Yeah.
It is what you do with that profit that it's up to you, that kind of defines maybe how you live or what you do or what's important to you. So for me, you know, that money is always recycled back into my businesses. I've always invested that money back in and invested in myself, invested in my team, invested in my own products to help propel them, and of course invested in my family to live a good life. It's not buying Bentleys or not. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. Like it's just not. It's not our ethos.
All right, so now we have to get to that final M, media. You are the king of that as far as I'm concerned when it comes to the marketing and getting, but that embodies not just the social media that's wildly successful for you, but also the public relations piece, that the stories that are written about you, the coverage you get. You know, how important is that to your brand and your business?
Yeah, I mean, it's important to get out there. When I'm on a TV show, whether it's filming with Little Yachty, that maybe some adults don't know who he is, but younger generation does, and he loves pizza, whether that's with Action Bronson, whether that's, you know, whoever, live with Kelly, you know, I am projecting not only for myself and who I am, but I'm projecting and I'm the spokesperson for a brand like Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And I have to embody all the things that we want to be about, whether it's natural quality ingredients, whether it's the fun nature of something. But it doesn't matter what it is. I have to wrap that up, and I have a limited amount of time to do it. So I better have my ish together to make sure that I am presenting and projecting and positioning my companies in the way that reads well. And if I didn't do that, and I said, oh, yeah, Tony Baloney's, I don't know, a pizzeria, and, you know, whatever. People are like, I'm not going there, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Whereas if I tell people, listen, if you have a slice of this pizza and you eat it, right? And this is the supreme tang. You literally, I want you to catch the Holy Ghost. I want you to eat it, literally. Hey, bite. Oh my God. And literally, like, that was so good. Oh my God.
Oh my.
That was the best thing I ever had. And you're pumped about it. You're excited about it. Like, you have to do that.
Please join us back at the table, Michael.
You need, that's what I want to get across to my customers. Do I want them to fall on the floor violently? Probably not for a lot of liability purposes, but ultimately I want you to feel that way inside.
Yes.
100%.
That may be the first time ever that anyone hit the floor after the M4. But I want to thank you for sharing your M4 and your pizza and your mutts with the world and your magic, Michael. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Love you, brother.
All right. There you have it. Mike Houck's well-blended mix of management, marketing, money, and media. We have some more business content coming up, including another segment with today's featured guest. So stick around for more South Jersey Business with Joe Molineaux. it's time to shine the spotlight on Mike Houck and gain some extra illumination on exactly what Tony Baloney's and Mad Mutt's Fresh Mozzarella Laboratory offers and brings to the community right here in South Jersey. Mike, let's talk a little bit about what Tony Baloney's provides as well as Mad Mutt's Fresh Mozzarella Laboratory.
I mean, the intention is, other than the functional nature of food and sustenance, it's got to provide a fun factor. It has to provide a quality factor. It needs to provide and fit a niche that is missing from the market in general, and you got to be happy when you're eating it, period. Whether you're interacting with it, eating it, coming to the shop, buying it at ShopRite, whatever it is, you have to have a good time with a smile on your face doing it. If not, to me, it's commodity.
Yeah.
You're hungry for a slice of pizza. Well, like, you can go anywhere for that.
It's a great description of the what. So that's a heavy lift though, right? So with multiple
Huge
retail
lift.
locations and food locations, and also a nationwide audience buying your product, not just online, direct sales, but also in stores. How does that happen? What makes up the team? How does that happen?
I mean, we have an awesome team across the board. You know, Tony Baloney's in Atlantic City has people for 16 years. Mad Mutt's Mozzarella Laboratory, 7, 8 years. Our Mad Mutt's team is now comprised of, you know, a QA person that is a professional industry person that understands quality assurance. We have a warehouse manager that his only job and specific job is to make sure that this warehouse is ticking. We have Fernando has been with me for years on the manufacturing side. It is so important in Tony Baloney's that we have those team members that not only can make awesome pizza, like, that's great. Like, you can kind of teach someone how to do that.
Yeah.
They need to believe it. They need to buy in. And I always tell my employees, like, if your job is lifting something,
Yeah.
if you're not here and your brain isn't on, how am I going to better my life? How am I going to better my family's life? How is this something that if I'm collecting a paycheck, honestly, I don't really want you on the team.
Yeah.
You need to buy in. You need to be part of the team.
Yeah.
And then we're going to take it to the moon. You're going to hop on this rocket ship with us.
Absolutely.
And we're all going to benefit. It has to work like that.
Yeah, and that speaks to your culture that you're creating there at the companies, which is great. So you mentioned about what the customer can expect, but now let's talk about who you do this for. Can you talk a little bit about your customer base? I mean, it's massive, but can you talk about those ideal customers?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, you could say it's a mozzarella eating stick customer, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm in ShopRite and I literally take off my gear. I'm plain clothes. A woman in her late 70s, early 80s walks up and grabs a box of the truffle or mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
She puts them in her cart with fruits, vegetable, chicken stock, I don't know. And I said, oh yeah, you like those? She goes, I never had them before. I said, you like mozzarella sticks? Never had them before.
Wow.
Oh, why'd you get them? I love truffle. Did you see them on Shark Tank? Oh, I don't even watch TV. I know about that show.
Wow.
We're unlocking an audience
Yes.
that is otherwise would never buy a mozzarella stick. That's one of 100, 200 examples
Yeah.
that I personally have
Yeah.
that I've interacted with. And when it comes down to it, the mozzarella eater loves these sticks.
Yeah.
It is the best mozzarella stick they've ever had in their life for a number of reasons. It's homemade mozzarella. We make it from scratch. We're the only ones that do that. It's fresh mozzarella with quadruple the amount of moisture of a regular extruded, low moisture, block processed cheese. It's all natural. It's flavored fresh mozzarella that I invented. It's flavored batter and it's flavored breadcrumb crust, like the jalapeno popper. It is literally jalapeno cream cheese mozzarella with a pretzel jalapeno crust.
Delicious.
So like through and through, our customer is really anyone
Yeah.
who appreciates or doesn't appreciate those things, but they will appreciate those things.
That's great. So the last part of the segment would be the why. You have to look in the mirror a little bit. What drives you to do everything you do for these two companies? What's the why?
I mean, the easier generic answer is that you have to cut payroll, you have to cut rent checks, you have to pay taxes, you have to do those things, and as a function of business, you need to support these things. So you have a responsibility to 100 employees, right, that I have,
Yes.
that I need to make sure that end of the day, as long as they care and their intentions are good and they have the same vision in mind, that they're gonna get their paycheck. They're gonna get, my landlord's gonna be happy with me, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, it also boils back to like, I wanna make sure that I have a rock star product or a rock star experience that I can feel proud of.
Yeah.
That I can take my boys in and I can show them things and get them to learn how to make pizza. My wife, we can raise our children
with those things in mind. They see how hard their father works. He rolls up his sleeves. He's not above doing dishes, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm the owner of this company. You'll catch me doing dishes sometimes.
Yeah.
I will hop in to train someone. Yo, this is how we do it.
Yeah.
And they, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is he making? He's making pizza. I'm like, yeah.
I love it.
I can do those things. I will do those things. That's not going to ever stop.
Yeah, I can see an undercover boss in your future too.
100%.
Listen, I want to thank you for allowing us to shine the spotlight on both of the businesses, both Tony Baloney's and the Mad Mutt's Fresh Mozzarella Laboratory.
I appreciate being here. You've been a supporter since day one, 16 years ago, whenever we met.
Yeah.
And to me, it's really important to connect with people like you, and you've been a huge supporter. So anything that you do, I'm down with.
That means a lot
Let's
to
go.
me. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
That was today's Spotlight, providing a clear view of what Mike Houck, Tony Baloney's, and Mad Mutt's Fresh Mozzarella Laboratory are all about. We'll be right back. Well, that's the show. We had a solid business discussion with Mike Houck, founder of Tony Baloney's and Mad Mutt's Fresh Mozzarella Laboratory. Once again, thank you to Stockton University and everyone that makes this program possible. Let's do it again next time. And until then, let's get growing, South Jersey. Thanks for watching.